1971, when many of you were probably just a twinkle in mom and dad's eyes, I left for a 5-month training course to become a teacher of transcendental meditation. Hey, I'm Deborah Poneman, founder of Yes to Success, where we share knowledge and tools for you to live your ultimate life and ageless, anti-aging for your brain, your body, and your future. Now, I'm not exactly sure how many of us there were on teacher training, which started in Mallorca, Spain, and later we all moved to Fuji Fonte, Italy, but easily 1,000. And we all meditated for those 5 months for 8, 10, even 12 hours a day, often in complete silence for weeks at a time, and always eating a simple vegetarian diet. We only went out of our rooms in the evenings to hear discourses by the great spiritual master, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Then I came home and I taught meditation full-time for many years, frequently going back for 1, 2, or even 6 months to again meditate for 8, 10, 12 hours a day. Some people accused us of being selfish, taking all that time just focusing on our own personal development. But then the research came out on what was called the Maharishi effect, where it was scientifically proven that when groups of people gathered in one place, that the peaceful energy radiated out and had an effect on the entire world. One research study showed that when several thousand of us gathered and meditated together in Washington, D.C. in 1988 or 1989, crime rate went down, hospital admissions plummeted, the stock market inexplicably rose, and so much more. And that research has been duplicated not only with the TM program, but with other forms of meditation and with groups not even in the same physical locality. For example, I think you remember me talking about the work of Lynn McTaggart called the Intention Experiment. She found that when individuals around the world gathered at the same time and intended for a shift to happen, indisputable miracles occurred. The Intention Experiment, which was verified, by the way, at research laboratories and universities throughout the world, demonstrated that collective intentions can make seeds grow faster, created miraculous healings, could even purify water. But the most impressive group intentions that Lynn McTaggart facilitated were when participants lowered the level of violence in war-torn areas like Kosovo and Afghanistan and the Middle East, simply by gathering in their own locality around the world, but intentioning at the same time. So people were in their own homes by themselves, but they all did it at the same time. So no, meditation is not selfish. In fact, it's a gift to the world. And I believe that because more and more people are realizing the ripple effect of their spiritual practices, they are more committed to those practices. I believe every time we meditate, we tip the scales in favor of peace. It actually, tipping the scales reminds me of the story of the great rabbi and Kabbalist, Rabbi Ashlag, and the simple analogy he gave many, many decades ago, actually, I think it was over a century ago, to show how each of us has the power to change the world. Rabbi Ashlag asked his students to get a scale of justice, with the 2 bowls on each side, and he placed it on a table, and he told his students to then place an equal amount of sesame seeds and 1 bowl in the other on each side of the scales of justice. And then Reb Ashlag explained to his students that we are at a very precarious time in the history of creation, where there's a great battle going on between good and evil. And then he asked, if the seeds on one side of the scale represent the pain, the darkness, the suffering, the unhappiness, the lack of humanity in the world, and the more seeds are put on that side of the scale, the more the scales will tip to an age of destruction. And the seeds on the other side represent the joy, the light, the happiness, the kindness, the love, the good. And the more seeds we put on that side of the scale, the more we're contributing to the dawning of an age of heaven on earth. So in other words, every time you did something that hurt another person, spewed anger, told lies, discredited somebody, took credit for somebody else's idea, it would put a seed on the side that would perpetuate an age of darkness. And every time you did an act of kindness or love or generosity, it put a sesame seed on the side that would bring forth heaven on earth. And then the rabbi said, if there were absolutely equal amounts on each side, how many acts, how many sesame seeds would it take to tip the scale of our planet one way or the other? And of course, the answer is one. Too often we believe that we are and what we do is insignificant in the scheme of things. Our gestures of kindness and acts of love, or the peace we create through our spiritual practices won't make a difference or won't mean anything in the grand scale of things. Yet, according to the rabbi and the Kabbalist, just one action can mean the difference between the destruction of our world and a world filled with light. One seed. And how do you know that that one act of kindness that you did today wasn't the tipping point that brought about the dawning of a new world? You get it? You never have to feel helpless again. The fate of the world truly is in your hands. So I'd like to invite you to join me in the coming weeks for 2 free events designed to further our quest for peace on earth. The first is the World Culture Festival, happening in Washington, D.C. for 3 days on September 29th and 30th and October 1st. Over 250,000 tickets are already confirmed, and millions more will be watching on national TV. There are going to be over 17,000 artists, singers, and dancers, all performing their native dances and songs from Poland and Mongolia and Brazil and India and Israel. From the US, we're having 1,000-person gospel choir and 1,000 guitar ensemble. Oh, and an international food court and a children's pavilion and so much more. The purpose is to connect millions of people who long for more unity and less division. And then that love and that happiness and that joy and that celebration of our cultures is going to radiate out to the entire world. The head of the reception committee is the Secretary General of the UN, Ban Ki-moon, and other confirmed speakers are the former Prime Minister of Norway, the current Prime Minister of Suriname, Nancy Pelosi is speaking, Chuck Schumer is speaking, Congress people are speaking, both Democrat and Republican, the President of Fiji, the Prime Minister of Mauritius. I will be, well, I'm no Prime Minister of Mauritius, but I will be emceeing the second evening. So come live, and if you can, and make history with us. It's free, or watch on the internet as we create a joyful celebration of unity of all cultures and all faiths and all countries. Just go to worldculturefestival.org. And the second wonderful event coming up is a 21-day World Peace Meditation Challenge offered by the nonprofit 10 Million for World Peace.org. It began yesterday, September 1st, and it goes through World Peace Day, which is September 21st. And this glorious organization, founded by my dear friend, Marbeth Dunn, will offer a short guided meditation live on Facebook and YouTube at 1:11 Eastern Time every single day, just 7 minutes a day. It's all it takes. Again, the URL is 10millionforworldpeace.org. I know that we all yearn in our hearts to make a difference. So join me for these wonderful events. I would love to see you live in DC with 250,000 of our nearest and dearest. And even if you can't make it live or online to DC or to the World Peace Meditation Challenge, remember, every act of kindness, of love, of generosity puts a sesame seed in the bowl marked heaven on earth. And that's something we all can do every moment of every day. We're in this together, and we can do this thing. I know we can. Love and namaste to you.